of Education will not respond to individuals who address the Board of Education, except to request clarification if needed. Only in cases of emergency will information received during this presentation be acted upon at the time of presentation. Grievances, complaints, or concerns related to individual school personnel or students will not be heard at this forum. Other channels have been established for the consideration and disposition of a grievance, complaint, or concern that involves school personnel or students. The superintendent will discuss with and make available to any individual or group the policies and procedures for this purpose. Thank you. Okay, I need a motion. I'm sorry, do I have any public comment today? Okay. Moving on, I need the approval of the agenda. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I need a motion for the approval of the minutes from the December 10th, 2024 and January 16th, 2025 meetings.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. And moving on to the superintendent's report with Ms. Weaver.
Well, it is a short report this afternoon. Number one, recognition of teachers for being in the top 25% of CTE certifications. Due to power outages and several of those folks not being able to get out of their driveway due to trees, I have personally reached out to them, and they will be coming next month at our, I think, Tuesday, March the 11th meeting to be recognized.
Thank you.
And so the only thing I have on my agenda is calendar update for 24-25 with Ms. Stacy Miller.
Y'all not tired of hearing about this calendar yet.
It's a moving target, let me just say.
It is. This thing takes shots every week.
Need to wait till March.
Hard, oh my gosh. Let me get through next week. So just so you guys know, right now we have had to move the end of school date due to tomorrow. So the end of school right now is now May 22nd. And it pushes the required work days to the 28th, 29th, and 30th. Should we miss any more, like school next week, it's gonna push it further. And so basically, it's gonna affect the high school most of all because they have the last 5 days of the school year to take their exams. So I think their plan is to get seniors tested that first day. If we miss any more school next week or anything like that, and the last day of school moves to like May 30th, that will move graduation because they won't have time to get their exams in before seniors graduate. So I did want to just make sure that the board is aware of that. And we did take spring break due to the 2 absences last week due to the water main break, and then due to the ice storm this week. We took April 22nd through the 25th of spring break. We did leave Good Friday and Easter Monday. So that's where we're at right now. Do you guys have any questions about that? I mean, it will, the end date of school now will continue to move because we've used up all of the days within the calendar that we can use.
You know, Rick's phone says 19 inches of snow.
Oh my gosh, please no. My children have to come back to school. My grocery bill my grocery bill was $500 last week. I can't, I physically cannot afford for my children to be out of school.
Graduation is still flexible at this point in time.
It's very fluid.
Okay.
Yeah, the calendar is very fluid right now because of all of the weather. We have missed 16 weather days this year. And it's probably been some time since we've missed that many weather days, but we're at 16 and counting right now. So, and again, I'll just go back and say, this is what happens when you have a 172-day calendar. There's no give.
Right.
There's just no give. And I think you guys got calendar A, B, and C. Did you have questions about that for me for next year? Is there anything that y'all would like to ask me? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had an opportunity to look at the 3 calendars and
I have.
kind of decide in which direction?
When do we think we'll have that up for vote?
It's right down here. It's right down here.
It's,
It's under new business.
Yeah.
You're gonna do
that.
just want to make sure that we're ready to, for what we need to do.
I mean, it don't have to happen to this meeting, don't do the memorial.
Yes. Yes. So, just looking to see if we're looking for the one, I think it was the one, our numbers were.
I have 178 and 180.
And I know that's what we were shooting for, so when we get down here to the bottom for a resolution, I'll talk more about that, so, anyway, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're excused to go.
I was on, yes, I'm gonna wait and see what y'all say about that.
You will table
Of course. Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay. Next, we do have the consent agenda. Item A is the federal amendment number 4. B is the state amendment number 4. C is the capital outlay amendment number 3. D is the special revenue amendment number 2. So we just need to make note of those. Moving on to new business, the approval of the mowing bid contract. Mr. Chairman?
In your all's packets, I think you'll see a copy of this year's mowing contract, same as the last one we did. It's just we extend this from 2 years to 3 years and change the dates on it. That's pretty much it, so
You need approval.
I need approval, please.
So,
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any, nay, no. I need, the approval for the Sparta Elementary School roof.
Yes. With your all's approval, I would like to spend some money out of the R&R grant, a repair and renovation grant that the state provides us. I would like to move some money from that account to pay for a new roof at Sparta, the K2 building.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
I'll give you a quick update on the high school. Monday, the 17th, they will start the demo of the old office area and what canopies you see above sidewalks and stuff. That will take place Monday. And then we're looking at, they said to plan on for 2 weeks for that process. And we have changed just a little bit the pickup and drop off spot. It's still in the same area, but it's just beyond that canopy area.
Right.
So, I think Mr. Sturgis was pushing all that in. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the steps.
The steps will remain, it's just the
Okay,
canopies will be gone for
okay.
now. The steps will remain until utilities are done up Trojan Avenue and we switch everything back to Trojan Avenue. Then the steps and will be done inside there. Everything changes after that. Yep.
Okay, number C, approval of resolution requesting a 2-week weather waive.
Like the board to consider a resolution requesting a 2-week weather waive. We are gifted 1 week. We're asking for an additional week. This document will be given to legislators asking for the flexible calendar for us to start earlier. Watauga County Board has done the very same thing in Ashe County last week. So we are coming together to ask the mountain counties if they would consider allowing us more of a flexible calendar so we don't have the issues that we are facing right now with, due to snow and ice and the weather. So this basically is just asking for the legislators to give us that week. In third paragraph here, it just explains that we have, and actually this is going to change because here when it was created, it says 14 school closures, so it's now, 16 school closures and probably more counting. So, would like for you to consider adopting this, and I will be going to Raleigh at the end of, probably mid-March, and this is one of the topics we're going to talk with as legislators, trying to get the flexible calendar that will allow us to start school a little earlier than what the law states we have to go by.
We used to get that waiver all the time.
We get 1 week, and it says 2 weeks, so this is asking for an additional week.
motion for the approval?
So,
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
D, the approval of the 2025-2026 school calendar.
Would you like to talk on behalf of these?
I would really love to, y'all.
These are your masterpieces.
I'm telling you, you wouldn't believe the amount of time it takes to drive the calendar and change it up. So we did draft 3 options, and what Ms. Weaver was talking about with that extra week to start early, it would put on option A, it has our kids coming back on the 18th, which would be the typical start date that we would normally see in the school year. With option A is 175 days, pardon me. And it does put the last day of school at May 29th. So there's that option, that adds 3 additional days to what we've got now. Option B is a 178-day calendar, and it has our kids coming back 4 days past, or before what that waiver would actually give us. So students would come back on August 12th, the last day of school would be May 22nd. Spring break is much earlier this year, just because of where Easter falls, so it would be that first full week of April. And then option C is the typical 180-day school calendar, with students coming back on August the 11th, and that would enact the entire 2-week waiver that Ms. Weaver was just speaking to you guys about, and that puts the last day of school on May 28th. Now, what it does when you elongate the calendar is it takes away so many teacher work days, because you're obviously using student days. So we don't have 12 days at the end of the year for teachers to come in and do for work days. We have like 2. And what Ms. Weaver asked for me to do in thinking about the calendars was to be kind of strategic about where the optional teacher work days would go, because those are typically the days that we take when we have weather days. I'm so sorry, excuse me. You see that we do have the built-in parent-teacher conference days, because, those are extremely beneficial. I think just as a parent, we want parents to come in and talk about how their kids are doing. Attendance, we can address all those things there. You do see that the required and the optional work days with option B and option C are much more limited to what option A is. Half days are still in there for, Christmas, the end of the year, that kind of thing. And then the 10 holidays are there and the 10 annual leave days are there. So, I'll tell you which one I like, but that's what it's that. Option B. I think option B is a fairly solid choice. It kind of meets everything there in the middle ground. It allows us to get all the hours we need. It increases our student days by 6 days. I don't think option A is a viable option. Just, from my own personal, but you can take that how you will, since I'm a 12-month employee, I'm here all the time. Do you guys have questions about the calendar for me? Anything that you would like to know about the reasoning behind anything? Okay.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Anybody have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that the board consider approving option C, which maximizes contact days for students in Alleghany County Schools.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. E, the approval of fiscal year 2023-2024 audit contract amendment.
Yes, as the summary stated, due to the effects of the lien that disrupted where our auditors live and work from, and in us, not quite as much, thankfully, and some issues that the auditors had with the ransomware attack. The first date that we would submit our audit report on the initial contract was October the 31st. That's typical through the LGC. They give you a 1-month grace period. But the state in the fall asked all of us in the western part of the state, with all these things going on, when do you think your audit will be completed? And we indicated January 31. So what this is just amending the date of the audit completion till January 31st. There's nothing else changes in the contract. There's no fee change. The audit is complete. It's been approved by the LGC. It's been sent to the Federal Audit Clearinghouse. There's a clean audit report and findings. This is just purely to be changing the date to get things in sync. And as an aside, the past several years, the audit report itself has grown in size with all these governmental accounting standard board pronouncements, to where just about everybody was having difficulty meeting the October 31st. So the standard contract, the first one we'll sign for the upcoming year, gives you until December the 31st right off the bat. But with this new contract, there is no grace month like we were given November when the date was October. So that's just kind of looking forward. But the only thing changing is just the date, the amended date on the audit contract.
You have a motion?
So,
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and the approval of fiscal year 2025-2026 local current expense proposed budget.
Now, what this is for the local current expense and the proposed budget, the next one for the capital outlay, what we typically like to do is gather all our data from the grade levels, the teachers, the school improvement teams, get all the principals together and the directors, and we talk about the request. By state law, the budgets don't have to be to the county until May, but our county's adopted an earlier timeline. So we have to have things to the county next week, which kind of backs things up. Leanne Dixon and I talked, and I told her, I said, if we really did it all the way through like I would like to, we'd have to start in September. It's really not hardly fair to ask a principal in September, what are you going to need 10 to 22 months from now? It just doesn't mean quite as much. So they have, the schools and the directors, they have turned into me all of their budget requests, and I have gone and I've put all of that in an Excel spreadsheet. Every request that was on their capital request sheets, I've included on our proposal to the county, and some of the things on the local as well. This is just a proposal. It's really, we know it's gonna change. If we get everything we've asked the county for, I'll probably pass out. You know, we have asked for more than we usually get, and more than we think we'll get. But we do know that there are a few items that I know we've been in communication with them about, that they are willing to fund a little more for us. So we'll just see what falls. At this point, this is a proposal trying to take into consideration the things that I felt like we could possibly do out of the request we did receive from the schools and the directors, and just so I can kind of get to the work of getting the proposal together to send to the county. And then the real work starts when we know our appropriation from the county, and then we have to come back together and decide what really stays and what goes. We will talk to the principals, have all the principals come in and the directors. We've done that the past couple of years since we've had an earlier timeline, more in the mid to late March timeframe, and that seems to work better because they have more of an idea of what they're gonna need for the next year by that time than they would in, obviously, August or September of the previous. So that's kind of the rationale of the way all of that has worked out.
Okay, I need a motion for the approval of fiscal year 2025-2026 local current expense proposed budget.
I make a motion.
second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And finally, the approval of fiscal year 2025-2026 capital outlay proposed budget.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I need a motion to enter into closed session. Mr. Johnson?
you have to read that again?
We have a motion to resume closed session for the reasons previously stated.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.